we're in Hereford, a town that I grew up in, amongst lots of other places. But the reason I'm making this video is the people that live here, especially those my age, always ask me, why do you like Hereford and Herefordshire? And I'm going to show you. Drinking a pint of Butty Back made by White Valley Brewery. Every day when I would drive to Hereford Sixth Form College, I would drive past the brewery that makes this. This stuff is proper. And if there's one reason why I like Herefordshire, it's because proper booze is made right here. Right, this isn't all going to be me chinning pints, but a lot of it is, because that is what Hereford is, to me at least. Herefordshire, very famous for cider. When I was a boy, I worked at the Weston's cider mill, picking the apples that went into the cider. Now, unfortunately, this isn't by Weston's, so I do need to have words with the coffee pot. They should be stocking the best local cider. But this is, I don't know what it's called, but delicious. What a place.
What if you get another one?
So I went to Sixth Form College in Hereford in 2015. I'd just been kicked out of a boarding school in Wales, and I was trying to find myself and prove to myself, you know, that I wasn't just a waste of space. And so Hereford for me was a very formative place. I started my first business here at 16, did quite well in school, but I also was a very naughty little shit. So I ended up being kicked out of home at 16 years old. And so I was kicked out of home at 16, which caused some problems, but it was also very cool. Imagine that. You're in Sixth Form College and you're living in your own place. I was doing naughty things, I was selling drugs, I was being a reprobate, but don't worry, I turned it around and I left Hereford in 2017 to go study law at the University of Leeds. I'm Tom, nice to meet you all. I just basically want to ask you what you think about Hereford, because I think it's a great place, but people like yourselves tend to disagree. Do you live here?
Yeah.
And what's your thoughts on Hereford?
Not a lot to do.
Not a lot to do. What do you do for fun here?
Skate.
Skate? Okay. Anything else? Don't smoke long cigarettes? No. Okay, so you're just skaters. Are you looking to get out of Hereford?
This is too early to answer questions, you know.
But you're like, you know, if you don't like living here now, where do you see yourself in like 3 years' time? Still here. Still here.
Yeah.
How about you? Still here as well.
Yeah.
Those lads, and I asked them, do you enjoy living in Herefordshire? And they said, not really. They said there's not a lot for them to do. And to be honest with you, if I look back at myself at that age, I agree with them. There wasn't a lot to do, but I still enjoyed it. And I want to work out why I enjoyed it, but those lads don't. I spent my early teenage years living in Singapore, and then I went to boarding school. And when I moved to Hereford, it was after a period of turmoil in my life. So when I came here, I felt really settled. But I quickly started doing a lot of very naughty things. I was living like, you know, you're untouchable, because you're in the countryside and you're like, oh yeah, it's not a real place. Well, it is a real place. I was doing all sorts of very bad things around here when I was a kid, and it quickly caught up with me because the great Herefordshire Constabulary did once raid my house. However, look at this beautiful corridor on this quaint street in Herefordshire. This to me is why I quite like it here. It's very pretty, it's very traditional. This is England to me. And coming back from Singapore to see a place like this as a place where I lived was nice. It was refreshing. This is England, not living in some town like Milton Keynes. This is England. It's amazing fruit. Gemma, look at this fruit. Surely not. Wow, look at the fruit. Amazing. Bloody hell, that was a noisy dog. So we've assessed I used to like doing naughty things in Hereford. And yeah, maybe that was why I liked being here. It made it very exciting. And when I look back, of course, it's covered in nostalgia. But I think there's more to it than that. Like, there's very few places in the UK that are the same now as they were 100 years ago, 200 years ago. I mean, yeah, of course, things have changed. But realistically, as you watch the people go around Herefordshire, right, in their little lives, doing their little things, the same thing, they, you know, not much has changed. And something about that makes me kind of warm-hearted towards the whole thing. The world changes so fast and things just happen. But there's some little pockets, especially in the UK, where it's a bit more resistant to change. So we've been transported to Churchill Gardens, the place very near to Hereford Sixth Form College, where one can come across some of this. When you're in sixth form, you are facing 2 issues. You're facing 2 issues as you come to Hereford Sixth Form College, age 16. You're facing 1 issue. Do you want to be a geek? No, you don't. Or do you want to be a big smoky boy doing all the recreational substances? No, you don't, because you'll fuck up your life. I dodged the bullet. I straddled both paths, and I was a smoky boy, but also got my fucking head down and did well in exams, because I'm a big alpha Chad man who does well in life. Yeah, so this is Churchill Gardens, and if you come here on any weekday at all, you will find a swathe of young people consuming smoky things and being reprobates. Come, it's a Saturday, so there might not be any, but we'll go and investigate. Come. Teenagers, where are you? So as it looks, on a hunt for local youths to interview, there are none. And this is where you'd expect to find them, smoking their substances and doing naughty things. But unfortunately today, none to be found.
You've got baggies, you can prove it. You've proof.
There's a baggie.
Proof.
Proof. Kingers. Proof of recreational smoking for churchy. Of course, I understand it. When you're that age, the only thing you give a fuck about is sex, drugs, and drum and bass. Trust me, that's all I gave a fuck about too. But you need to compartmentalise in your head what matters. All right, yeah, these short-term pleasures, fantastic. But what about the long-term goal? How are you going to be banging 10 out of 10 blonde rockets in Thailand if you don't get your successful degree that enables you to move around the world with all of this freedom and flexibility, because you've got a backup plan, which is essential. Anyway, back to why I like Hereford, and I'm going to stop lecturing you youths. For me, at least, right? For me, Herefordshire represents this beautiful, quaint, lovely city that is traditional. It is England to a T. But the one neglected group is unfortunately young people. Young people feel like they have nothing to do, so they turn to drugs and to drink and to relatively antisocial behaviour. I mean, we're not all out stabbing here with big knives. If you ask the common young person in Hereford, what do you do for fun? The answer, smoky boys and cider. Hereford possibly could be a good place because of nostalgia. Possibly my whole point about why I like it so much is because I'm not here. And I'm not sure, like, maybe I'm scratching the surface of that. Everyone that lives here says it's shit. And I, who don't live here, says it's amazing. And then I've recognised, for young people, what the fuck is there apart from drink and drugs? But surely there's more to it than that. AK's just found a pot in this tree. AK, would you show us the pot?
Yes, sir.
Amazing. Now, what does it say on it?
I'll let you
Decipher the meanings. 6R, 6 eep. Right, so to a local Hereford child, a youth, this is very interesting. Look, you graffiti it. Fuck off, it says. Fuck off. Well, you better put it back on the tree. As I'm saying, to a local Hereford youth, this is very exciting stuff, putting a pot in a tree. Fuck off. Transported to the King's Fee, the Wetherspoons in Hereford, where I seem to have a magnetic attraction to. This is probably the shittest place in the shittest part of Hereford. But yeah, whenever I'm first back in Hereford after a long way, I come here. Because when I was a teenager, this is where I would be being served underage. You know, you order on the app, you get your little drink sent to you, and then everyone with an ID, it says, oh, yeah, it's for me. It wasn't. And this place has a dear place in my heart. But this is supporting the theory that the reason I like Hereford is through nostalgia, because every time I'm back in the premises, I'm not going, oh, this is the best place in the world. Like, let's be honest, I live in Thailand, all right? Where would you rather be, this fucking smoking area or Thailand? But in my head, this is better than that. But in reality, it is just a grey, boring Wetherspoon smoking area. Is Hereford only good in my brain because of nostalgia? It seems quite possibly.